Hey, welcome to the Fourth Line Hockey Show. I'm your host, Willie Plouffe. I got my co-host, Mark Adam. You know, Mark, welcome to the show here. The Fourth Line Hockey Show is so exciting. We have a great day today. A great event, a great night coming down today at the Fourth Line Pub and Grill. 3025 Nest, a big sponsor of ours. If you haven't been here yet, we got great wings. We have a great hockey theme, great place to watch. But even more important, doing the hockey show, Mark, you know, you're my new co-host, and you bring a lot to the game. You have a pod show. Give me some about Mark Adam.
I've been doing podcasting and sports. Big sports lover. I was a big hockey player coming up, and I started this thing called Can Sports One, which isn't necessarily off the ground yet, but what it's going to be is a big charity to let kids play sports of any kind. But I definitely come from a hockey place, knowing how expensive hockey can be for my parents and the sacrifices they made, and hopefully we can make it a little easier for people's parents to allow them to play whatever sport they want.
You know, that's always a great, you know, when people are pushing it, helping out young kids or anyone that plays sports, doesn't matter if it's hockey, but we love hockey, we love all sports, helping out. Fourth Line Hockey Show today has, you know, a couple of great guests. Riley Dudar, who's coached my guy in spring hockey. He's got a program called Evolution Hockey. He's played pro hockey. He played at U of M. He's trained a lot of guys. He brings a lot of good talent. I love his edge work. This kid is you know what? I call him a kid because when you see him, he's a smaller dude, but shit, he can skate pretty fast. Can't say that on there, but he can skate pretty good. I can't wait to talk to him and talk hockey talk with him.
It's always great to talk to somebody who's seen hockey from so many different angles. Like they're seeing it as a trainer. They play. They're just every time they look at the game, they're looking at it from somewhere new, and so they tend to see more of the big picture of hockey, which is a lot of fun.
And, you know, after we have Riley on, we have a couple of U of M players who both played in the Western Hockey League. They took advantage of the great program the Western Hockey League offers now, where every year you play in a year of college, university. These guys are playing now for U of M. They both been invited to an elite camp that's, you know, trying out for like the University Team Canada group that go overseas.
Wow.
We got Nicky Zajac and Adam Henry coming on. We're going to have those guys on, and it's funny because Riley Dudar has coached both those players and worked with both of those players.
Small world.
It leads into, you know, a perfect segment from the fellow who's trained a lot of really good players, and he's going to talk about not just training, about what players need to do after hockey or on ice, off ice, eating habits, all this program that he offers. It's very important. Game's changed.
Absolutely. The one thing that I struggle with, and I have always struggled with, is the nutrition part, the way to eat. It's one thing to put in all that work every day, but passing a McDonald's without wanting to stop is the big challenge for me.
You know, being part of that, you know, we all played hockey growing up, and some guys got to play a little bit different levels, but when you make that next jump, it's all about dedication, commitment,
Absolutely.
being part of, you know, having a schedule, and it's not just about playing hockey, it's doing the homework. You got to get your grades up. You got to have good marks to be it comes down to planning and being prepared. If you're not prepared in school or your job, how are you going to be a great athlete? And I think, you know, Riley brings a lot to the game. There's a lot of guys out there who are training a lot of good players and programs that I know of also, that Riley knows that he works with, but this kid here's got a lot of good stuff. Let's bring him in.
That sounds
Riley,
good.
come on in. Hey, Riley, welcome to the Hockey
How's it
Show.
going, boys? Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thank you for joining us.
Right on.
Riley, I gave you a pretty big pump up there.
You did. Yeah, it's going to be hard to follow up.
It's pretty good. You know, like we talk to all our guests all the time, Riley. Let's, you know, tell us a little about Riley Dudar. Who's Riley Dudar? Where'd you play? Give us some stuff.
Well, I guess I'm just a guy from Winnipeg who loves hockey. I played in St. Vital Minor growing up. Went on to play some Junior A across Canada in some different leagues. British Columbia, Ontario, the Maritimes. A little bit of a suitcase there.
Now, I just got to stop you right there. As a Maritime boy, I'm going to need some more specifics.
Woodstock, New Brunswick.
Woodstock. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it was an
kind of
awesome
north.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. I'm from Halifax, so.
Oh, right on.
Just
You
trying
didn't
to figure it
stop
out.
he didn't stop at Woodstock and disappear for a while, did you? That
No.
wasn't your parents, wasn't it?
No, not that Woodstock. But,
Yeah, that's awesome.
and then ended up at U of M, played there for 5 years, and then got into the senior circuit after that, where I was very fortunate to play on some very good Allen Cup teams, and we won 2 Allen Cups during that time. And you know, now I'm still in the game every single day, working with young guys, older guys. Just love the game of hockey.
You don't look old enough to be the old guy working with young guys. Does that how you feel?
I mean, I've always been the baby face, so I mean, it's...
Yeah, you just presented yourself here like you're this grizzled like old guy. Yeah, and you look like you could still be playing like the elite game right now.
It was funny. We were in. I probably shouldn't be telling this, but we were with a bantam team that I'm working with. We were in the States, just chatting with a guy while we're checking into the hotel, and he just goes, "Oh, the bantam kids in Canada are looking a little old right now." And I kind of stop and think for a second. I'm like,
he's talking about you.
I'm not playing. Like I'm coaching.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Now, Riley, let's get to, you mentioned the Allen Cup. You know, I've got to play myself in the senior hockey, the Mohawks. Can you talk a little bit about the Allen Cup? That senior Allen Cup is some really good hockey players. It's good hockey.
Yeah, it was awesome. Just talking to a lot of the guys that are playing in there, they'd say it's somewhere around the East Coast American League, below that because guys aren't in as good a shape right now. But there was only a couple of us that didn't play professional hockey on our roster or other rosters. Most other teams will have guys that had pretty good pro careers. Like for instance, the first time we won, Terry Yake, who led the Ducks in scoring one year, he was my line mate. So that was pretty cool. That
is cool.
I got to just play university hockey and then step on a line with this guy, and you just get open and all of a sudden the puck's on your stick and get it back to him and good things are going to happen. So
and that's what it comes back to. The love of the game and the fun, getting to play with, meeting new guys at high levels, other levels, and I think that's why we play hockey, because it's so important, the friendships you build moving on. And you're going to remember that.
Yeah, the Allen Cups were probably some of my best hockey memories. I mean, aside from growing up playing on the outdoor rinks and everything, but at the end of the day, in Manitoba, the way it works, we're just a bunch of guys that get together and try and win a tournament, and everyone's ultra competitive. And everyone's played hockey at a real good level, so there's not really a coach yelling at you, telling you what to do or anything like that. It's everyone's on the same page, everyone's there for the team and trying to win a hockey tournament. And I'm friends with a lot of the guys on the team, and I made a lot of good connections with guys that I didn't know previously, and it's been it's been one of my best hockey memories for sure.
Now let's talk a little bit, Riley. I know you coached my son Taggart in spring hockey, worked with the guys off ice during summer. Evolution hockey. Give us a little bit, what is evolution hockey?
Well, Evolution Hockey now is a licensed Hockey Canada skill development program. And what we do, different seasons kind of cater to different clientele. Whereas during the winter season, we work a lot with minor hockey players, minor hockey coaches, goaltenders, doing clinics on skating, checking, skill development, all things around that kind of umbrella. And then come spring and summer is when the AAA players, the Western League guys, the college guys, the pros are all kind of back in action looking to get better. And, that's when we kind of put the minor hockey on hold and get those kids out playing other sports, doing other things. And that's when, all of, for lack of a better term, the elite level high performance players are starting to kick things in to prepare for the next season. So we work with, players, goaltenders, coaches, anyone really that has a passion for hockey and wants to get better. We'll find a way to work with you and help you out.
Now let's, I know your program, and I'm talking about people out there don't know about, you just don't train the guys on ice or off ice, other, like you mentioned, other sports. Tell us a little bit about your program. Like I'm going to say this year for Taggart, tell us a little bit about the program.
Yeah, huge. Other sports are critical if you want to get better at hockey. When you think about hockey is the most difficult team sport to play in the world. You need every other attribute that pro football players, basketball players, baseball players, everyone needs, but you're doing it standing on a piece of steel on ice, full contact, and you're handling the object of the game with another object being the stick. And, people just expect hockey players to just be good at hockey. And when you see kids playing other sports, like you should see some kids shooting a free throw in basketball. It's like, we got to make you a better athlete. Like if you want to be a better hockey player, you got to be a better athlete first. And so in our programs throughout the spring, summer, we line up the lessons for like tennis, squash, badminton. We've done jiu-jitsu, which has been awesome.
Oh, that's like hand-eye coordination stuff. That's a little bit of a...
It's a lot of balance
combat,
in combat. I mean, you hear nowadays that, kids are soft or back in my day I would have done this. And again, the old grizzly guy, that's not necessarily me, but probably more like Willie or you guys. But like,
that's so true.
I mean, it gets kids engaging in a physical altercation. And, some of the guys that we see at a real young level that have taken jiu-jitsu on more of a full-time basis or like going to more camps and things, they're so much better off in the corners. They're more confident in their body positioning. They're more confident in engaging in those battles. And
when I was coming up, one of the biggest things was like the kids because I was always a bigger kid, so I wasn't so worried about it, but there was a lot of kids that were worried about getting hit. And I would think that the jiu-jitsu and things of that nature would really help with like going into that corner feeling like if I get bumped, that's cool, I'm okay with that.
Oh, absolutely. And how I kind of got started and everything, I was a strength and conditioning coach working with a lot of guys off the ice. So did a ton of research there, did a lot of continuing ed courses and networking with people. And some of the top guys in the world that are like training Olympians, high performance athletes in a variety of sports, they all say young kids should play a team sport, an individual sport, and a martial art. And so we have the team sport covered with hockey.
Yeah.
We were getting the individual sports. A lot of kids will do golf. We got tennis, squash, things like that. It's very good for speed and agility, quickness, all of that. Would you rather run around cones, or would you rather chase a ball around and compete against your buddy and play for Gatorades or whatever after? Yeah. So, and then the martial arts side of things, we added jiu-jitsu, and we've done some other things with boxing and other kind of martial arts. But yeah, that's kind of our program in a nutshell. I've also done some mental game certifications, so just working with players on building confidence, dealing with fears of failure, trying to separate themselves as a hockey player and as a person, things like that. And then the nutrition side of things, it's a very touchy subject nowadays. Everyone's got their own beliefs and opinions, so we try not to tell you to do this or do that, but at the end of the day, I think no one would argue that fruits and vegetables are the power foods, and so we try and teach people how to get more of those into their diets. Helps with recovery, better energy, better sleep, better digestion, everything like that. So we're trying to really look at as many different things as possible that'll help you become a high-performance athlete, and we'll provide you with those.
You mentioned that you touched on, the mental game and confidence. A lot of players you see who are really good players, they're shattered. They believe that their hockey is over by 18, even 14. When they don't get drafted to the Western Hockey League, they're crushed. They think they're done already, but there's a lot of hockey left, and it's so important to give that player the love and feeling good. Everybody can contribute to a team. Everybody can.
Oh, absolutely. It's our system it's a little strange. It is the way that it is, but I don't know if it's going to change, and maybe the people making the decisions in these higher leagues know a little bit more than me. But I mean, half the kids that we see at 14, 15, they haven't even hit puberty yet, and to guess or to project where these guys are going to be it's wild. I mean, I was playing community club hockey at this age in the Western League draft, and it was don't want to say it was by choice, but I played every other sport, and I have 4 other brothers and sisters, and with the costs and with me, I didn't want to quit playing soccer, basketball, all the other things. So played community club hockey, and I ended up getting a scholarship to U of M, and I've won 2 national championships with an Allen Cup. So, and I'm doing hockey full time now. So I mean, if you want to look at whatever your definition for success is in hockey, I mean, I'm really happy with that. And if I had given up when I was 14 years old because I didn't get a Western Hockey League look, I mean, I don't even want to guess where I would be, because I mean, everyone that I hang out with and all my friends and everything is
buying into a pub.
Hockey. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, because a lot of players end up, what are they going to do? They fall off the track, or everyone's success level is a different story. And you talked about the mental game also. Confidence is huge, but the mental preparation is not just packing your gear 10 minutes before the game and getting there. If you're going to make a high performance athlete, you really got to be mentally prepared.
Oh, 100%. It's and a lot of people are fragile too. Like, when a coach yelled at me for making a mistake, like, I knew I made a mistake. Like, I didn't need you to yell at me in front of my old teammates. I'm here trying to have some fun, and that didn't make me play better. And there's going to be coaches out there who are like that, and we can't change that. But what we can do is we can help those players that may have had the same feelings as me, that you can't control what your coach is going to do. So helping them with things like how to reshift their focus and then rebuild their confidence in mid-game, things like that, I mean, goes a real long way. And I think with young players, just knowing that there's other people out there that may feel like you, I think now that they know that they're not alone. And I think just more people need to talk about the mental side of the game. And one of the big reasons why I think people don't do it is because no one's talking about it, so no one's really educated on it. And
right.
It could be a scary topic for a lot of people, but I think just talking about it, I think really clears up a lot of doubt in a lot of people. So what we try and do is keep it very simple. Like, don't have the kid laying down on the couch and telling us their whole life story or anything like that, but just giving them simple things to work on throughout a game or prior to a game that, when your teammates are screwing around, like, start thinking about the things that you need to do and start thinking about the things that you've done in the past that, make you feel good, and you're going to go out there, feel better than anybody else, and go out there and have some fun and let the chips fall where they may. And then when the game's over, we'll reassess and try and get better for the next time.
You tie into the old school a little bit where, parents, me being a parent of 3 boys in hockey and that, and knowing the code where you're scared to say something. You don't want to talk to the coach. You don't want to say certain things because you're worried, right? You're worried if it's going to come back and haunt your player or your son because, we're opening up a new can of worms, which I think is awesome that the mental part of the game, is huge. And finding a way a player ticks, you're going to get more out of that player than barking down on them pretty hard.
Oh, 100%. It's a challenge because a coach, he has a day job at Hydro or wherever. Like, there's nothing wrong with any. They're giving a lot of their time, and hats off to everyone who's coaching hockey because it's a big commitment for, very little financial reward,
little pay,
or praise for that matter. And at the end of the day, this guy's more of a psychologist than anything. There's 17 different personalities that he's dealing with, and then plus their parents. And I'm not a math guy, but that's a lot of people that
it's a lot going on.
That you're trying to figure out. Like, maybe that kid had a real bad day at school, and that's why he's acting the way that he did today. Or some guys need that kick in the rear end, and some guys need a little bit of a pat on the back, and trying to figure those things out. And you only get to coach a kid for 7 months, and seeing them a couple days a week, it's hard to figure out.
You'd be lucky sometimes you get the second year at the same age level or whatever. But you're in and out with a coach, and I can fondly remember some of my coaches, and I'm very aware of bad memories of coaches too, where you had an entire season to deal with it, and those seasons felt like forever, but the seasons you loved your coach seemed like it was a month and it was over. So
you absolutely, and again, that ties into the mental side of things too. That it's not only when we're working with teams or associations or groups. We talk about that for the players, but also from the coach's perspective too. That especially at the minor hockey level, it's not about X's and O's. It's about making the experience for kids fun because we want them to come back to the rink.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they're signing up to play hockey, and we've got to remember it's a game. We want them to play, and helping those coaches understand that. I'm pretty sure that kid didn't mean to throw the puck up the middle of the ice for a turnover to go back the other way.
He didn't plan that.
He wasn't trying to do that. So when he comes back to the bench, I don't know if he really needs to get a lashing but some cases they do. But that's the coach's own decision to make, and there's nothing we can do about that. But helping them understand that too is I think, just like I said earlier, just talking about it, I think makes people more aware that people think differently than you, and trying to understand that and respect that.
And a few rotten apples have really made coaches back off. And there's a lot of crazy, there are a lot of crazy hockey parents out there. I got no problem saying that. And you know what? And attacking coaches, getting on coaches, making coaches not want to talk to the players, and in a kind of not a huge personal way, but a personal way. Like, how's your school? How's your day today? Getting on, because in that back end as a coach, sometimes you're thinking like, did I say the wrong thing? Because all of a sudden, player tells mom and dad that, hey, Coach Willie asked me how school was, or something like that, and he doesn't like the ice time again. Daddy doesn't like it. He's all over Coach Willie. It's a tough road being a coach now. Huge.
Like you said, they get a lot of the blame. A lot of people dump all their frustrations on a coach. That's why they get fired so quickly in the NHL. It's always the coaches that go, not the players. But we do have to remember a lot of the minor coaches that, like as you said, they're giving up all their time. We really have to be supporting them as much as we do the players these days.
Yeah, and it's a lot of dads too. Their kids are all friends, and you're managing your friend groups too, and trying to sort all that. So they have an extremely tough job that they're doing. So it's a challenge.
Riley, we're coming a little bit at the end here. We love having you on. We're going to do a quick talk about. I wanted to know. So if I want to find out about Evolution Hockey, where do I go?
Say I want to sign up.
So you want to sign up?
What's the process for me?
Oh, what age group are you going to be in? Or?
I'm
65 and over.
Let's go. Yeah, over 35. The over 35 group.
We don't have anything for that right now.
Oh,
but
no.
I'd love to get going on that. That'd be a lot of fun. But We're fairly active on Instagram. Like to post a lot of things that we're seeing in the game and trying to just educate people to see the game differently. So we get a ton of messages through there, or our website evolutionhockey.ca, Evolution Hockey on Instagram, or just an email to Riley@evolutionhockey.ca, just asking kind of about our programs. We're fairly selective about the things that we're doing just because there's only so much time in a day.
Yeah.
And, the people that we work with tend to come back. And so, which means there's not a whole lot of opportunity for new things. But, I mean, that should never negate someone from reaching out to us to see what we can do or anything like that. Because I'm always happy to have a conversation with somebody about, recommending, another program or recommending something else. Because you never know who you're going to run into down the line. And at the end of the day, we're just trying to make the game of hockey awesome. I think hockey should be the best part of your day. And if we can help anyone do that, then, we're more than happy to.
That is awesome. Riley, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, guys.
And, before you leave, Riley, we got two of your ex-players coming on, Nicky Zajac and Adam Henry. Both guys played, in the Western Hockey, now playing at U of M. This guy trained him. I tell you, everybody out there, if you have a chance to look at Riley's work, take a look at it. I can say we got a fight going on here, Fourth Line Hockey Show, Jets in Boston, gotta love it. Edge work, hard work. Riley doesn't take any crap for anybody. He believes in players working hard. We'll be right back at you, Fourth Line Hockey Show.
Your mouth isn't the only part of your face that needs water. And if you have sensitive skin, Culligan softened water may be less irritating than hard water. Also, on an unrelated note, Culligan softened water is gentler on socks too. You could give your people Culligan water.
Back out here, the Fourth Line Hockey Show, the Fourth Line Pub and Grill. Like I said before, if you haven't been here, we got TVs everywhere. It's a hockey theme. We have a bomber room. Lots of fun. VLTs, great food, ran by a couple of pretty good hockey players, a little bit washed up now, but you know what? I have another great guest and another guest out of that coming to join this kid. Nicky Zajac played Saskatoon, played AAA Manitoba, Saskatoon Blades, captain of Blades going out. U of M taking full advantage of the program. Nicky, come on in.
Thanks for having me, Willie.
You're welcome, buddy. Welcome to the Fourth Line Hockey Show.
Mic check.
Check. You're good to go, big guy. We had you on the show in your first year in the Western Hockey League at 16. Wow, time has gone by.
Yeah, no, it's time's gone by crazy. Yeah. You came to the Memorial Cup. We were just chatting about that with me.
I watched you play since you were 7. We traveled together, having so much fun with the Mustangs, the Junior Jets, watching you play AAA, going to the Blades, making some game Memorial Cup. You're playing at U of M now. You've had a pretty good run. Schooling?
Yeah, no, I think the best part about it has just been, the relationships I've made along the way. You and your boy Tosh and, a household name, Curdy Keats. And,
Curdy Keats, yeah.
All the best friends I've made along the way. And
still wearing his white BBDs.
The game's been good to me. Yeah.
Talking, with athletes, and we just had Riley Dudar on, which coached you. He coached you, worked with you, coached with you. Now, Nick, the importance of for young players, we talked about this before, and I love saying it over and over, the dedication as a player. Can you please talk to the young bucks out there on that?
Yeah, you know what, I think the biggest thing I learned in my time in junior hockey was work ethic and, what it really took to get to the next level. The guys that did, they took it to another level. They, you always get better in the off season is what they said. And so they'd come back, and I remember pushing myself hard in the gym, and then these guys would just push themselves that much harder. And I learned from a lot of great players. And unfortunately, I didn't quite make it to the professional level. But here's hoping maybe one day I might. And yeah, so I got to meet a lot of great people along the way and see their work habits, and what got them to where they are now. And
we were talking earlier about players. Their careers are not over. It's amazing. Players at 21, 23, 24 are still really good players. The pool is so hard. Hockey's about getting breaks. You know, luck, breaks, hard work. Opportunity's not over yet for players like you. Like you play university hockey. You get a look that summer. You get a sniff other than overseas. NHL's NHL. Other ways of making a living in hockey, big time.
Yeah.
Like you can go overseas. There's a lot of hockey there.
Yeah, you know, myself and Adam, he's going to join us a little later on the show here. We both have the privilege of traveling overseas with the Bisons. You know, we're both playing the Bisons together, and that's kind of one thing we do in the preseason is we go to Europe, and we have for the last 2 years, and we play, you know, 4 European teams in the English Elite League, and a little bit of exposure, right? So, you know, we play them, we try our best. It's a good training camp for us. It's a good training camp for them. And then at the same time, we're also trying to expose ourselves to those leagues so that, you know, maybe one day we might get a contract out there.
You know, flipping it a little bit, tell us a little bit about the biggest fish you caught this summer.
The biggest fish I caught this summer.
I saw you pull some pickerel. You pulled some walleye out of Lake of the Woods.
Yeah, no,
Like,
we went out this summer quite a bit, and we didn't quite catch, you know, a ton of big ones this summer. It seemed like we would catch a lot, but just kind of right in the slot size. So that was nice. Filled the freezer up. It's still full, so but we'll have to get you and the boys out there this summer.
We got to do some of that. And the important thing about why I brought that up is when you're not playing hockey in your off season, of course you still got to train. Of course you do. But you also have to enjoy your life a little bit in summertime, right? Like as a player, you got to have some fun in life and enjoy it.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. I think the Dudars would attest to this. It's you know, being a multi-sport athlete and doing other things in the summer. I think you know, a line that I always say and I live by is rest is a weapon. And I truthfully think that, you know, you should take a rest from the game a little bit, stay in shape, go to the gym, do all the things, eat well. But, you know, come Friday, Saturday, you know, drink some beers and have fun and you know, step away from the game a little bit, throw a line in the water and try and catch some walleye.
That's what you like to hear for your young guys out there and girls out there. He's talking about root beers, okay? Pure root beers. You know, and we have one of your players, like one of your teammates here, Adam Henry, who also played in the Western League, and now you have an opportunity to play, you know, university hockey with him. Let's bring him in. Come on in, Adam.
Thanks, Willie.
Hey, welcome to the Fourth Line Hockey
Thanks
Show.
for having me.
You know, what we'll do is, if Nikki wants to pass you the mic, I'm going to ask them questions. So, Adam, you know, we know Nick's history a little bit. Tell us a little about Adam Henry.
Okay, well, where do you want me to start?
Yeah, let's talk about your hockey. You know, we had a great chat, you and I, earlier about, you know, both you players here, correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, didn't make your first year provincial midget, right? You played AAA city midget. And a lot of those players that did make it, they're nowhere to be found. And you guys have gone now to the Western League, onto getting your school paid. How good is that?
No, yeah. Getting your school paid for, I think, is a win. Obviously, you know, as a hockey player, you play your whole life. You want to make the NHL. That's your number one goal. And at the time when you're playing in the Western League, you're not really thinking about school. But then once you grow up and you actually start attending school and realize that you don't have to pay those bills to go to school because you're on a scholarship paid for by the Western Hockey League, that's when you really realize how awesome it is. And so, you know, we didn't make the NHL, but in some way we did make it a little bit. But yeah, you're bang on. I remember being drafted to the Western League, going to Lethbridge, signing in my first year as a camp, and I was thinking I was pretty good. And then I came back to try out for the Winnipeg Thrashers, and I got cut as a 15-year-old. And I remember thinking, as you know, end of the world, didn't make the Thrashers. I guess I'm not that good. I guess I'm not much of a player. And you know, the immediate reaction is you want to kind of pack her in, but you know what? You keep playing, you keep working hard, opportunities arise. Kind of a fun little story and like a good little tip for young players is getting cut's not the end of the world. You know, I first got cut when I was 11, didn't make the AA team, ended up making AA the next year and got to work my way forward. And then, like I said, I didn't make the Thrashers at 15, but I did make the Thrashers at 16, and we ended up winning the TELUS Cup that year, and that was kind of my favorite hockey memory. And the only reason I was playing on the Winnipeg Thrashers that year is because I didn't play at the highest level at 15, so I didn't make the Western League at 16. I was disappointed I got cut from the Western League at 16. I got to come home and win a national championship, one of my favorite hockey memories. So, you know, getting cut is not the worst thing that can happen to a hockey player.
And it's great hearing that because players out there, you know, all sports, you need to know that you're going to get cut. Everybody gets cut. Mike Keane got cut. Yeah. 3 or 4 Stanley Cups, right? People will get cut, and you got to keep moving forward. Now, I heard today through someone advised me that you two guys have been invited to try out for a pretty elite program coming up, like a all-star Team Canada University team. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. I'll try to kind of wrap it up as quick as I can. The games are called the FISU Games. I'm not actually sure what that stands for. It's the Winter Universiade, it's called, which is basically like the Winter Olympics for university sports worldwide. Team Canada sends teams, so there'll be curling, hockey, bobsled, all those winter sports. For the men's hockey team, Team Canada, the team's going to be selected on February 18th. Nick and myself were nominated by our head coach for to have that opportunity to get selected. We won't know until that day if we've made the team, but if we get that opportunity, we'll get to travel to a city called Krasnoyarsk. Is that what
It's a multiple.
Yeah, Krasnoyarsk, Russia, which is in Siberia. Probably not the number one destination I would have picked if I was going on holidays, but
Well, you got perfect weather right now to get ready for it.
Well, exactly, yeah, it's training us for it. I'm sure it's nice and warm over in Siberia, so yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be awesome. Now, Nick, for you guys, let's get something from you, Nick. Give us a little bit of story and some fun stuff with U of M. What's going on? Like Bones,
stuff
how
with U of
about
M.
Bones? Your coach Bones. Like, give us some of Bones. Like, come on, let's move it a little bit faster.
Bonesy's good stuff. Ryan Bonney, he's our assistant coach, and he's a great guy. I got some story. I got one story. I think it's hilarious. I won't name any names in the story, but I'll tell it. And if you really want to dive into it, you could probably figure out who it is pretty quick. But I remember coming into the U of M. It was my first year in the league, and I was showing up to training camp, eager to prove myself. I was playing for a new coach the first time in 5 years. I was doing that, and I'm looking around the room at the other freshmen in the room and trying to kind of just level myself out, see where I'm at. And I remember looking over at another freshman. I won't say a name, but I looked at him and I said, "Hey, what are you thinking of majoring in?" And he looked at me and he goes, I don't think I'm going to go for one of those. And so.
Was it you?
No. Needless to say, he's not playing for us anymore. He's not playing at the university level. He didn't make it a whole lot of.
He didn't go deep.
Well, yeah, he didn't go deep. Year one was good enough, and he's no longer playing for the Bisons because half the battle is being a student, right? So, but no, I got some funny stories. But yeah,
Does Coach? Your coach is a killer. He was one of the toughest guys in town. He could throw. He
you
carved
heard
your eye
that?
out.
I don't know.
I'd have to see it to believe it.
I tell you, he's a Mohawk alumni. He curved your eye out. I'm telling you, he would flip you up the wing. And he was a tough dude.
Did you ever play him?
No, I never played him. No. He probably carved my eye out, but I gave him a couple. Now with the university U of M, do you have to keep a certain GPA up to play on the team?
Yeah, and the standard's set pretty low. It's 2.0.
Yeah.
And I won't say any names again, but we also have another student who didn't quite crack that GPA level last year. But actually our team, I gotta give praise to them. We actually have quite a few academic All-Canadians on our team.
Yeah.
There's a couple funny guys that just are there just to have
There always is, and I would be on that end of the. I'd be on that end of the bus. Yeah. That part of the team is that I know I was going to school in the States, so we had to have a 2.5, and we had to took some ceramics and some courses to make sure that we carried that 2.5.
Basket weaving.
We had it was. I couldn't believe they wanted you to take weightlifting.
Yeah.
You look at the program, you say, you enter your psych and all that, and you look and the coach says, no, you're going to take weightlifting, bowling, and all that.
Well, we got about 9 players today. I was sitting in the dressing room. They were waiting for class to start. The class is called Intro to Coaching Theory. The professor is Mike Sarant. And they're putting on their skates and they're heading on the ice. And Coach Mike Sarant's teaching like 8 of the Bisons how to run a hockey practice. University level class. Yeah, it's good stuff.
That's
3
top,
credit hours.
That's top shelf. You know what? You guys, I'm not saying, but you know what? Sometimes some players need that, right?
Yeah,
you need to help you out because school is hard. Control, taking care of hockey and school and your life is, being a young player,
Yeah, and university set in a certain way that it's not everyone's, built to learn that way. University is very challenging, and it's kind of a one track. And if you're not good at learning the way that the university wants you to learn, then you're not going to do well, and it's not for everyone. So yeah,
right,
you're absolutely right.
And now we talked a little bit off the air before you got here, Nikki. You're talking a little bit about, You guys going away with that opportunity to try out for that team, possibly taking care of that, going on that team, and having a send-off at the Fourth Line Pub and Grill. And if we can get that to work here, we love you guys to be part of it. We'll help you guys out, get you guys going,
awesome. It's a great venue. We'd love to do it.
You'll be able to see it at on the Fourth Line Pub and Grill Facebook or Instagram. Once the boys decide what date they want, it's good.
Maybe next Saturday?
We were going to hammer out a day. I think
Yeah.
the Friday or something of the
February
22nd.
February
we were
22nd.
thinking, yeah.
Well, because we got a Jets game on. The Jets are playing Vegas that night. It'll be $10 for the player, for anyone who wants to come. $10 you're going to have where, it's a send-off to the players. If something goes wrong, the players are talking about donate all the money raised to a great charity that they'll pick. So if it doesn't work out, but I'm sure it's going to work out somewhere. So we'll check that out. You can see that at the Fourth Line Pub and Grill. We'll have our guys pushing it through our program. We'll get it out there so people out there will know about that, which would be great. Now, before we leave you guys and let you guys go back, have some wings and have some root beers at the old Fourth Line Pub, let's share a moment about one of your, Nikki, I was going to bring up something. I saw your last video when your last game of the Blades, and it was pretty emotional, right? And it, rightfully so. You spent 5 years there, and now your career as a captain. Give us one of the most funnest moments of your hockey. Even when you're 7 years old, 5 years old, all the way now. Do you have one you really remember?
You know what? You put me on the spot there. Yeah. I got a lot. I mean, I'm not an emotional guy by any means, but there were some times, in the career where in junior hockey where you couldn't help but tear up, and I think those are the ones that stick out most for me. I remember, one of those times was, right before our first game at the Memorial Cup. And I was 17 years old, and, I wasn't exactly playing a ginormous role on the team. I was a fourth line left winger, but just worked my bag off and just wanted to go out there and do my part. And I remember it was right before the first game of the year, or first game of the tournament, and sold out rink. And lights were off. And we were in our dressing room. Our coach comes in, and he's giving his speech, and he stops in the middle of his speech, and you could just hear the 15,000 people who were, paid to watch us play, and they were just roaring. And it was the first time that I'd played in front of a sold-out crowd, because we played in a really big rink there, and so when I walked out of that tunnel and I looked up and I saw, it was like full, and I couldn't believe it, and the lights were off and these lights were shining, and so that was a pretty cool experience for me, and definitely one that I'll never forget.
We were there. It was rocking. That is great. That's a great story to share with everybody. Adam, what do you got for us, bud?
Favorite hockey memory?
Yeah, give me one of these. Yeah.
God, there's so many. You've been playing the game for so long. It's hard to. What comes to the mind immediately is obviously winning the Telus Cup with the Winnipeg Thrashers was pretty cool. We won the semifinal in double overtime. Most nervous.
Was Riley Dudar on that team?
Riley Dudar was on that team.
What a beauty that guy is.
Him and I, we've got a taste for rock music, so I see him around town at rock concerts all the time, and it's just like we won a Telus Cup together. We'll be buddies for life, so that's kind of a cool thing. But that was really cool. But in the Western League, I have a pretty cool memory. Like right at the end of my career, a really emotional time. My grandfather had we were playing the Kelowna Rockets in the conference final. And they were stacked. They had Draisaitl, Morrissey, Bowie, some real good players. We had Patan, Bjorkstrand, two really good teams going at it. And I knew my career was coming to an end. My grandfather had actually had passed away. He'd been sick for a long time. We knew he was going to pass at some point. He had passed away right before game 4. Found out for the game, played the game. Played game 5 in Kelowna on a Friday night. Flew to Red Deer to visit my family, be with all of my family members on the Saturday for his funeral. My dad, my mom, my entire family, everyone was there. Flew back to Portland the Sunday on about 2 hours sleep to play in Game 6. And then I remember I scored a goal in the first period, and the puck kind of just shouldn't have gone in the net, but it did go in the net. I remember my mom saying to me, your grandpa kind of helped that one go in. It was in front of a home crowd, sold-out barn in Portland. That was a pretty cool experience. We ended up losing the game, but that kind of week of hockey in my life is something I'll probably never forget. Yeah.
That is awesome. That gave me goosebumps. That's the hockey gods coming down on you.
It absolutely was. It was. The puck came to me at the point, and I just took a wrister that went through about 7 bodies and trickled in the net, and it was something else.
Well, you know what? I want to thank you boys for coming on the show, Nikki and Adam. And I want to also say out there, a lot of people out there, we got a lot of hockey in Winnipeg going on, but the U of M Bisons is a great program. You don't understand, a lot of good players that play in the Western Hockey League play there. A lot of players go on from U of M, play overseas, make themselves a living of playing hockey. If you haven't been out to one of the games, get out there, check it out. They got great hamburgers, hot dogs, popcorn's awesome. You get to see these guys play. I love it. Fourth Liners Hockey Show will be back on February 12th. We want to thank our sponsors, Culligan Water, Fourth Line Pub and Grill, best place for wings. Come on down. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.